Hi, thank you. What we're going to do is spend a couple of minutes here. I'm going to first break you into groups. I'm going to get one group to think about the economics of what's going on here. I want one group to think about the social side of what might be happening in this general area. And I want one group to think about the legal and policy side. We will prompt you along. There's 3 staff members here. I haven't really prepped them on this, so they're going to be winging it with all of you. But this helps you to think about what you need to put into your reports, okay? I also want you to think about the different environmental management principles that might be applying in this situation. Environmental management principles in a broad sense, okay? So thinking about trying to achieve sustainability, sustainable development. So that's why this course has a huge emphasis on not just the diverse information that's going into decision making, but how do we integrate it to achieve sustainability or to head in that direction. Okay, so we'll divide you up into those groups. First, to give you a bit of an overview, which I've given you some of already on the bus, but for the externals who are listening to this recording, and thank you Patrick who's recording this, what we've got here, if you had a bird's eye view of this area, and I will post a bird's eye view video that I took yesterday, you would see that we've got patches of agricultural land, then we've got patches of forestry land, and then running through it, often along waterways, we have strips of native vegetation. Here's one of those native ecosystems, regional ecosystems here that I mentioned before. So this is quite a wet part of the world, and all that water is running down into Moreton Bay. As I said before, it's a fish habitat area. Does anyone else know what Moreton Bay is famous for in terms of thinking about conservation and where it's the sort of protection that's on it? It's to do with wetlands. Has anyone heard of protection on or recognition of wetlands? Ramsar, well done, yeah. So Moreton Bay is a Ramsar wetland, and Pumicestone Passage that all of this flows down into has Pumicestone Passage wetlands, which are also Ramsar listed wetlands. Okay, so that's just a little bit of a starter in terms of economic and social aspects here. The other thing to keep in mind is virtually all of this native vegetation, when we look at it on maps, and I've included some of this mapping for you to look at either on the trip or later, is all listed as wildlife habitat, because there are koala populations in this area. For those of you who know a bit about conservation, there are also a lot of policies in place around trying to conserve koalas in this area. So there are koalas trying to move along these small patches of native vegetation, along these waterways, and move from the coast to the hinterland. Okay, so what we will do now is this is very mathematical. I'm going to get this group here to just speak with Christine will go with you. I want you to think about some of the social impacts around this system in the landscape and how that might be interacting. We will have half of the people that are left here with Scott. Scott, do you want to do economics or science? Doesn't matter to you. All right, well, you can do economics for this one then. And the people here will do science, and we'll talk a bit about environmental policy and planning as well. Okay, so let's just talk on that, and then we'll bring back our ideas to the big group.